The random words.
Hi ha hi ha 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 chop.
Mustard Gas Productions. Hey, wait, get him out of here. Oh, I moved. Girl. Mustard Gas Productions. Changing my mind. You wanna fight? Bring it on. Hey, where'd he go? Oh, not again. What is it? Where is everybody? Oh, not again.
Finished. Nothing like trimming the hedge.
You want a beer? No, I do not want a beer. Ah, you're gonna pay for that. God.
Truck. We're going in the truck. We're going in the truck.
Oh,
I got a beer now. Oh, it's all warm right here. Mustache.
oh no.